Right.
The first day of
On the
Christmas,
first
my
day
true love gave to me a Gordon Smith
and a Blackstar HT 40. Anyway.
Greetings, I'm Rob Jabbers.
And I'm the captain.
And welcome to Andertons.co.uk in the heart of England, Guildford, which isn't really the heart, but it could be the heart.
Flippity flippity flu. I'm feeling a little bit chilly and a little bit sensitive. Hence the reason, for the first time in a long time, I have stuck some phallically shaped pieces of foam into my ears like this.
If that's the shape of your phallic, you've got an issue, sir.
That's true. Robert's just had an operation to cure this, you know that.
He has. You know what? It's a return to form for Blackstar.
It's a return to something. It's a return to, what was that Chick Corea album? Return to Forever.
Right.
Return of the Jedi and Return of the Mac. Return of the
Jedi.
Return of the Mac with the bill. So 7 years ago, Blackstar, who were a mere 3 years old at the time, and really, to be honest with you, had, let me see, what did they have in the range? They had some very expensive hand-wired artisan things. They had some pedals, which were okay. But they did have, if I remember rightly, the HT5, which was their kind of like
monster amplifier.
Boom! Here we go.
Did you say boom?
I did. And also, that's true. There you go, Rory. Go and find that one from the original
Good luck.
Blackstar video.
Boom!
Boom!
Oh, he self-boomed. That's been Drew. Boom!
And they brought out Venue, which was their kind of range of gigging, but mid-price amps.
I'd love to be in that board meeting. What are we going to call it? Where do you play an amp? On a stage? No. You play in a big room? No. Arena? No. Venue?
Venue.
Yes.
And it did really, really well. Won loads of awards. Kind of established itself really as a one of the amps that you should absolutely look at when you're going to go and buy a decent, quality gigging amplifier. But after 7 years, I think the time was right for a revisit.
Yes. An MK2.
A Mark II.
And so they've done that with this beautiful here-looking head and this beautiful here-looking combo. What you can see before you get the spine bright and shining down.
Range is a 40 watt combo and a 50 watt head with a 2-channel but voice switchable fang.
And you can switch it down to 10 watts.
Or and that's true, or 4 watts in this case, a tenth of the watts basically. Or a 60 watt 112, a 60 watt 212, or a 100 watt head, which have the 3-channel preamps in it. So the reason we've got these two amps here is the one I'm using kind of covers the 40 watt combo and the 50 watt head, and the one that Rob's using kind of covers the 260 watt combos and the 100 watt head.
Is it really shallow to say I'm really enjoying the grill cloth?
The salt and pepper thing does a thing that you instantly you realise this is new, because of course the old range had completely black grill cloths. So that's the new weave, and it instantly makes it look a bit more vintage, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. You know what? This is beep, beep, beep. know what? This is a gigging amplifier, Lee.
They're all gigging amps.
I immediately recognised this when I tried to max out the gain at a bedroom volume, and it didn't shine quite like what I wanted it to do. But then I thought, you know what? To hell with it. I'll crank it. So I crankaged it, and I rolled the gain off.
Yeah.
As I was taught 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I'm old, and it sounds great.
I would totally agree. So this is one of those amplifiers where all the gain is really there for your bedroom satisfaction, where you just want that kind of crazy gainy, light touch, legato-y kind of vibe. But from a gigging point of view, or certainly from a recording point of view, it's one of those amps that really gain past 12 o'clock kind of goes a bit de la fizz.
You know the way I see it? You've
How
got
do
to
you see
earn
it?
that gain with volume.
You've got to earn it.
So if you want that gain, you've got to earn it by
In sweat,
having volume.
blood and tears.
And volume.
Stamp my pole on the floor.
Mostly volume.
Wear my woolen leggings. It was definitely, there's some line from the kids from Fame. You got to earn that. You got to earn that thing in sweat and tears and.
In the
Leroy,
comment section below,
do some dancing.
Leroy
was the-
Brown.
He was the star.
It's people like you give Kung Fu a bad name.
I don't know where all these things are coming
That's
from.
The Last
now.
Dragon. It's the best Kung Fu film of all time, apart from Big Trouble in Little China, which of course is the best film of all time. Can I have a different guitar?
Yeah.
Basically, we started demonstrating the tones, and then I said, this Ibanez isn't the right guitar to test this amp with. It needs to be a different guitar. Because although it was fun to play with, and I picked it up because it was fun, and I don't normally use an Ibanez, I don't think it was doing justice to the sounds of the amp. Not the amp's fault, and not the guitar's fault. The marriage was wrong. Sometimes...
And when the marriage is wrong, you just got to talk to each other.
You've
be
got to get
open
a
and
better
honest.
guitar.
The trouble is, like this demo, if you struggle through, people will know there's a problem, and then once you've done it, there's nothing you can do to it. So it's better to be honest and go, darling.
Better.
It's just not working anymore.
To be honest.
I found this little orange thing,
and
basically
she's blonde.
She's orange. The other one was sort of dirty
Blonde on top,
it?
orange underneath.
Whoa! That was like a
Tremolo
Pete
effect.
Townsend thing.
I'm glad you noticed my new thing.
Was that a
no one
thing?
else. Yeah, no one else does it. I learned it.
Anyway, so what are we doing? We're going back and doing the clean tones
I'm doing all the tones. Yeah, I'll do all the tones.
Fine.
But we did all the tones, but you're not going to see those. We're doing them again with this guitar because I think it's better.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Can I just say if we're not going to see any of the Ibanez thing, the problem was that the volume difference between the neck humbucker and when you split it in like a position
huge.
2 or 3, it was just like gigantic, and it was impossible to kind of set the amp up to. So we went, hey, quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, I mean, not that this is a big difference in volume, but it's way better than the
It's Anyway, right, so we're now going to do... So we're doing the clean tones again, are we?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I love how this video is coming together.
So the clean channel on the Mark II has evolved from Mark 1. Mark 1 just used to have a tone control, and Mark 2 now has a bass and a treble control, volume control, and the two voices that are also foot switchable, which we'll talk about more later in the video. First one is based on a Fender, like a blackface, 60s kind of blackface vibe. And the second one is based on like a Voxy. So it's, well, you'll hear the difference when
you will hear the difference.
Plays.
Here is the F-type tonality. Wait.
That is cool. A lot of people in videos recently have been saying they're loving this orange Strat, and which of the presenters does it belong to?
It's mine.
And actually, it's just one we took from the shop basically, because we decided that an HSS Strat was just super versatile, and we should have one here.
So here's now the V clean sound. Drew from Blackstar rightly said it breaks up a little bit if you spank it.
And for those of you, those tone knob hounds out there, we have the treble and the bass set exactly at 12 o'clock and the volume at about 10 o'clock, so just over a quarter of the way up.
Yep, crunchy crunch time, which isn't a
So
serial.
now we're moving across. So again, here's another difference between the 40 or the 50 watt and the 60 or the 100 watts. Rob has 2 channels of overdrive,
yes,
each with 2 voices, so 4 sounds. The 40 and the 50 have 1 channel of overdrive with a voice control, so 2 sounds.
How many overdrives do you need? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Brilliant.
This is mode 2 of Overdrive 1, or voice 2.
Yeah, that's really nice. Now, I've rolled off the gain, but rolled up the volume.
Yeah.
So you can't tell in YouTube land, but this is loud. And this is OD2 on the green setting.
Really good.
Red channel. Well, I haven't played that in ages.
I was just about to say, have you been watching the Sounds Like videos? Because Rabir did
Yes.
Lenny Kravitz
And then I
literally
remembered
last Wednesday.
that I used to play that all the time. Now I have OD2 set to about 7 or 8 o'clock.
Yep.
It's really low. I'm going to roll it to halfway up so that you can hear, turning the volume up slightly too. So it's like half and half, volume and gain, just so that you can hear how it sounds if you crank it to the gainage. And that's...
is monstrous.
Great, really, really good.
So just to quickly recap the overdrive difference between the models that have just got one drive channel and the models that have got two drive channels. If you imagine on the 60 and the 100, OD1 voice 1 goes from like the mildest crunch setting through to OD2 voice 2, the heaviest setting, and of course you can foot switch between all four of those. And of course the two OD channels have got different volume levels as well. On here, the idea is that the gain control is a little bit more sensitive, so it still will go from all the way down to those really low crunchy sounds through to all the way through to those maximum gain sounds.
Right.
But within just the two voices, rather than, you know, the added flexibility of the extra volume. So don't feel like you're getting less tonality from this, just less foot switchable flexibility.
Right. Sometimes too much foot switchable flexibility gives you option paralysis.
I want to show people the foot switch. Now,
can you just tell me really, really briefly about that Gordon Smith guitar though?
This is called a GS1000. It's part of a new line of Gordon Smiths that... So there is a tie-up now. Blackstar purchased Gordon Smith over the summer. The two businesses weren't that far apart.
Most people pop out and buy an ice cream.
And the kind of current, not really current, but what Gordon Smith are perhaps famous for is a slightly thinner version of this guitar, and typically again the binding and stuff like that wouldn't be like normal on a Gordon Smith. So Blackstar have kind of got their amp designers together with Gordon Smith's guitar designers and come up with a new range which is a little bit more perhaps reminiscent of the full fat thickness of another guitar that you might know. So this is called GS1000. There's 5 or 6 new guitars, like new design guitars.
Tidy. Still comes with the Pac-Man Ghost scratch plate. I like that.
Anyway, foot switch. So just so that you guys know, 1,000,000%, this is not the finished. This is like a modified,
it's like a prototype pre-production version.
So panic not. Obviously, the one that you get won't look exactly like this. I'm really just holding this up so that you can kind of see the functionality of the foot switch.
Non-latching switches.
It's pretty clever. Are you zoomed in on this one? Cool. So the idea is, can you see the two different colors on here? So that's how I switch between the voices of the clean channel. This is how I switch between the voices of the OD1, OD2. Obviously on the model where there's only one drive channel, rather than you having these sort of dual color toggling things, this just switches between the two voice channels on the drive channel. This is cool. So you don't have, there is no button on the amp to switch this in. You can only get this feature if you buy this optional extra foot switch called Boost. It's a 6 dB boost over any of the sounds you're on. So
clean boost.
Boost your clean, boost your drive channels, whatever. And then you can turn the reverb on and off. And while we're talking about reverb, not that you would know it because it's a very nice sounding reverb. It's a digital reverb, and there are 2 modes of reverb on the back, one plate and one room, I think it is. The foot switch that comes with the amps is this one. So little 2-button foot switch, which allows me to change channel and change voice. And the other foot switch there, which again, if you go to our website, you can see. In fact, on screen now will be a full looking version of the foot switch, so not a prototype one. And they're available as an optional extra.
Wubba lubba dub dub.
Well, if we take a look at the back, and maybe Rory will just put it on the back. Put it just here.
There you go.
Kind of tons of stuff. So, you know, 1/4-inch jack outputs, XLR outputs with speaker emulation on it, and USB USB, which, if you decide to use, takes 4 channels of audio out, stereo wet, of, you know, eventually your sound with all the reverb on it in stereo. One of the preamp outputs, all the gain, but no emulation. So you can obviously put that into a different, you know, cabinet emulation box if you wanted to. And the 4th one is just literally the dry, clean guitar sound, which obviously you can then keep and reamp if
and
you
one
want
of them
to.
gives you a unique sound like this.
It's got Miku out. It's got a
Miku
hidden
out.
feature. Miku out.
Next time I design a new signature amp, it needs to have a Miku out.
Miku out. Anyway,
Give us some tones, Lee.
Yeah, so out of the 40, let's go back to the 40. We should talk about the power reduction mode as well. But
On
Right.
the first day of
the
Christmas,
first
my
day,
true love gave to me a Gordon Smith
and a Blackstar HT
HT
40. Anyway. That's my voice 1, my voice 2. It's quite cool. It's definitely got that, you know, I don't know if it's, you know, that whole Vox Fender thing, that people ban that around a lot, but it definitely has that slightly darker, slightly more driven compared to, actually it's not darker, is it? It's brighter.
That's darker.
This is,
yeah.
but this is the Fender tone. And that's the Vox tone. Yeah, a bit brighter actually. And then if I go to my drive channel, as Rob said, we're keeping all the gains kind of pretty low for this test.
That sounds great.
It's a big sounding amp, isn't it?
Yeah. Really good.
Haven't really used any pedals here. I mean, I wouldn't have said it's an interesting one. It's like, is it a pedal amp? I mean, there's no reason why it couldn't be a pedal amp, but it's, you know, if you buy the Footswitch for it, you've got 73 gain settings at your Footswitch, you know, at your feet. So, but again, I've got here's a gain sound, and then if I kind of bung in a boost pedal and a delay pedal, you can see. I like that the boost pedal works well with it.
It's great.
It's a good sound. I mean, the criticism I think that used to come up a lot on the old Mark I series was the drive sound was voiced to have that kind of cocked wah. In fact, I've got a wah on the floor, so I could kind of almost show you what I mean. It kind of had that, maybe a little bit brighter than that, but you know. The criticism was that it kind of had that inherent slightly cocked wah, nasally kind of vibe to it, but the new stuff doesn't have that. It's definitely a much. It's funny, isn't it? Because it's almost like that sort of cocked wah distortion sound became almost like a Blackstar signature overdrive sort of sound.
Well,
but it was very
it wasn't in the old
Marmite.
HT5 or the, you know.
Maybe, I think it is if you. But anywho, it's kind of in a way they've got rid of that. So half of me sort of thinks it now sounds more like the drive channel of other amps. So does that make it better, or does that mean that it's lost some of its signature? I don't really know. I mean, I prefer the drive sound of the new ones. We've still got ISF, infinite shape facility feature.
Is it really infinite?
Is it infinite? Is anything?
I don't know.
I mean, can the human mind comprehend the infinity?
Well, I think
generally?
the truth is this is a simulation, but it's a good one, and we should go with it. How much is that?
That is right. The range starts with the cheapest one in the range is the 50 watt head, which is $5.99, which by the power of magic will appear on your screen now. Then we have the 40 watt combo, which is $6.49.
These are great prices.
Then we have the 60 watt 112, which now has that preamp in it, which is $7.49.
Right.
$8.49 for the 212.
How much is this head?
And $7.49 for the head.
Really good.
And $2.99 for the $2.99 for the 212, $1.99 for the 112, and $479 for
95,
the
93.
412. If any of you guys are still gigging with 4x12 cabs, then good for you, man. You're keeping rock and roll alive. But most people have given up on that back-breaking
And
exercise.
chiropractors work. You know what? It's a return to form for Blackstar.
It's a return to the Jedi. We've done that gag. Can I just talk about the power reduction? The Series 1, the top of the range kind of Blackstar stuff, has DPR. I'm sure there are many things that you could think of that DPR could be an acronym for, but it's dynamic power reduction in this particular instance, not what Danish Pete is signaling to me at the moment. This had like a simplified version of that. So whatever amp you buy in the range has a full power mode and then a tenth of that power mode. So this goes 40 watts to 4 watts. If your maths can't work out what a tenth of the power is, then I suggest you go back to school and study harder.
Right, that note.
Let's be honest with you. Doesn't that wind you up? My wife's not very good at maths and stuff like that. And she will literally go, you go, oh, it's 10% off that. And she'll go, so how much is that? And I cry a bit inside that, you know, an adult human being doesn't know how to do 10%.
No, just use it to your advantage.
And then she'll literally go, so if it's 20%, how much is that? And I'd be like, well, it's twice as much as 10% off, obviously. And then if you want to be really, really clever, back in the old days where UK VAT used to be 17.5%,
yeah,
you used to be able to go, well, it's 10%,
yeah,
plus half of that again, plus half of that again, would get you to the 17.5%.
You learnt that from your father, didn't you?
I did.
Yes,
old shopkeeper mentality.
I could tell it was fatherly knowledge.
There we are.
That's the video done, I think, Lee.
I think it probably is.
If you're still sat there watching this, A, thank you, and B, what are you thinking? I mean, there are so many other things you can do.
You know, go outside, get some fresh air, look at the world. It's a beautiful place. Maybe, you know,
well, most
play
places.
with your dog, something like that, you know.
See you later. I'm Rob Chapman.
Bye. Three-way.
Oh, three-way. Boom!
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the Andertons Guitar YouTube channel. If you're a drummer or a keyboard player or interested in music technology, you might find one of our other channels interesting, and I'll put details of those in the description below. If you want to find out more about the products we've just featured, please click here. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt like this, please click here. If you want to watch another video on our guitar channel, click down here. And to subscribe to our guitar channel, click here. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.